Hello, welcome to episode 55 of Little Bobbins Knits. My name is Dani and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Little Bobbins. We have a Ravelry group which you can find by searching Little Bobbins Knits in the groups tab on Ravelry, and show notes for the podcast can be found at littlebobbins.co.uk. Thank you so much for coming to spend some time with me today. I'm really pleased to be sat here chatting with you. It feels like it's been a very long time again. I feel like I have so much to share with you this time that I might spread it out into a couple of episodes. I think it's been just over a month again and lots of things have happened and lots of lovely new yarn has come into my life, so yeah, I might spread it out over a couple of episodes. I have been ill since here it comes. Since I got back from the Curious Handmade Country House retreat. That was a month ago. I just had a really persistent cold and I'm feeling so much better, but it's still there a bit, so there might be quite a few cuts for coughing during this episode. Hopefully it won't disturb things too much. I've got a lovely big cup of tea to keep me going and keep my throat nice and soothed. I've got some popcorn tea today. My lovely Marauders map mug, which I love. I got this when we went to the Warner Brothers Harry Potter thing in Watford. It's where they filmed some of Harry Potter, so some of the sets are there and things. It's fantastic. I've been twice now and absolutely love it. I'd go back again right now to spend the day. It's just fantastic, but I love this mug because it's ginormous. So today I've got I've got one work in progress to show you. Currently in a bit of a knitting slump, which is challenging me, and I have lots of finished objects. I have I'll chat a bit about the retreat that I went to, and then we'll see how much time I have after that, because I've also been to Yarnporium, which was in London a couple of weekends ago, and I've got some lovely things from that, and I've got a really exciting thing to show you. It's a collaboration I've been working on with two very lovely people, so I will definitely fit that in at the end, but I might save the Yarnporium thing for the next episode because I don't want to run out of things to tell you about and then wonder what to talk about in the next episode. Excuse me. So I've got a little bobbin here as always. You're being a good boy, aren't you, Bob? So yes, my knitting slump. It happens sometimes and I really try and be relaxed about it. Try to think, in case you're not familiar with what I mean by a knitting slump, I'm not feeling like knitting anything. I don't know what has happened. I think it might be because I finished quite a few things all at the same time and I've been a bit ill, so I think it's just that sort of combination that's led to this. It sounds so dramatic. It feels very dramatic. I don't know what to do with myself when I'm in a knitting slump. Every time I sort of get out of the knitting slump, I think, if only I'd just relaxed through it, because soon enough my knitting urges will come back stronger than ever usually, and I won't know where to start with all of the things that I really want to knit, but I do struggle against it a bit. So the only thing I actually have on my needles at the moment, well, that's a lie, isn't it? I have loads of projects on my needles, but the only thing I'm actively working on are these socks. I started these, I think it was June. I got them when we went away for the weekend. So it's souvenir yarn and it's just a plain vanilla sock. like I do all of my, well, most of my socks, most of my vanilla socks are just top down with a slip stitch heel and square heel turn. I knew this was going to happen. There's a stack of really, really squishy shawls just there, and Bobbin is making a nest on them. Let's see if I can turn you around so you can see him. I think he's pretty comfortable. Move you back. This tripod does not like me, so try and get it in the same place again. Okay. So anyway, just working on some vanilla socks. I finished the other one. It is King Cole Zigzag. It's very inexpensive sock yarn. It is a 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon, 420 meters, 200 grams. But it's just really, really bright and cheerful colours, isn't it? I'm not really knitting any Christmas gifts this year. I always find that I think about knitting them far too late and then just get myself into a bit of a tiz getting them all done. I need to be more like Xena from Little Yellow Uke. She has it all planned out so efficiently, and I just listen to her talking about how she plans all of her projects and think, I wish I was like that, because she's so organised, and it's my dream to be organised. Unfortunately, I haven't managed it yet. But yeah, since I'm not organised, I'm not planning to do any Christmas knitting, but if I get these finished in time, then I will give them as a Christmas gift, because they're really, really bright and cheerful, and the person I plan to give them to is very rough on her socks, and I think these will withstand some reasonably rough treatment, so I think they'll be nice. I'm using these needles, I don't know if you can see, but they're all different colours. These actually aren't, because they're a mixture of two different sets, but they're the Addy Calibri needles, and they are metal, and they have one of the ends is slightly blunter and one of the ends is slightly sharper. I really, really like them. I find myself gravitating towards these needles. They're really smooth and really, really pleasant to work with, so I like those a lot. So yeah, I imagine if things stay the way they are and I don't get inspired to work on anything else, then these probably will be finished reasonably quickly. But we'll see. I'd better mention what I'm wearing actually. I'm wearing my True Friend by Vera Valimaki. I knit it out of, this is Drops Baby Alpaca Silk, and the speckled stripes are the Wool Barn. It was a one of a kind colourway that Maya dyed. I've had it a couple of years, I think. But I really like this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it if I stand up. I have shown it in a previous podcast. I just really, really like this jumper. I finished it in the summer, so I haven't really, or spring, summer, I haven't really had a chance to wear it very much. But I'm excited to start wearing it now because it's really, really lovely. Actually, wearing it today is tempting me into knitting another one. But we'll see. So I'm going to have to uproot Bobbin so that I can show you some of my finished objects. I'll show you my most recently finished one first. Honestly, Bobbin, he's so comfortable, you can't even, doesn't even care that I'm moving things under him. He's just in squishy heaven. Come on, I just need this shawl. So this is my most recently finished one, and I haven't sewn in any ends. Actually, I have sewn in some ends. I haven't sewn in all of the ends, and I haven't blocked it or anything. But I started this shawl, I think, just over a year ago. What month is it? November. Yeah, I think I started it last August. It's the Excuse Me shawl by Stephen West, and I just gathered together lots of different scraps of yarn, little leftover bits and pieces, and put them together in this shawl. There are still ends and things. And I just had it on my side of the sofa and just picked it up every so often and did a few rows. It's brioche, so for every 2 rows you knit 4 effectively. So when it got to the end, or towards the end, the rows were very, very, very long. And so I could only do sort of a couple of rows at a time before getting bored. But I'm really pleased to have finished it now. It's got all sorts of yarns in here. There's some, that's Bear and Vulla, there's some mohair, there's some Juno fibre arts. This was a really, really special leftover bit of yarn. This is one of my favourite yarns that I've ever knit with, actually. It's a sport weight from Juno fibre arts, and it's got some sparkle in it, and it's the sort of yarn that it looks blue in some lights and it looks lilac in other lights. It's just so pretty. And then this is yarn that I used for my morning mist top, I think it was called, and there's some hand spun in there. There's Bear and Vulla, that's the pond, some more hand spun, and then on the back I sort of kept the back a little bit plainer, so I used my variegated ones on the front and then my more solid colours at the back. And this orange is from Old Maiden Aunt. It is an alpaca blend and it is so beautiful and so squishy. I knit a shawl, I think it was the Canopy shawl by Melody from Mandarins. Her shawl in that yarn. It's so, so beautiful. I love that yarn. I'd like to knit with it some more. And then it's finished with an I-cord edging, and I ran out of yarn on my I-cord edging, but luckily, where did I run out? Ah, here. I had some Drops Alpaca, which was a similar colour. It's slightly lighter, but I don't think it will show particularly. I don't think it will matter or stand out that it's a different colour. So I followed the pattern, but I didn't cast off when the pattern said to cast off. Or I might have by accident, I don't know. I just knit it until I didn't want to knit it anymore. And yeah, then finished it. I really, really like it. I'm pleased with the size. It's always a bit difficult when you've got a shawl on a short needle to tell how big it's actually going to be when you take it off the needle. So I was worried that it would be too small, but it's actually a really, really good size. So I'm very, very pleased with that. It's lovely to have it off the needles after so long. I think I'll get a lot of wear out of it. The colours are very, very me. So yeah, really pleased with that one. I used 3.75mm needles. I think they were the ones that were in the pattern. But I used fingering weight. Oh, they might not have been actually, because I used fingering weight and sport weight, and the pattern was written for DK, I think, so I might have used smaller needles. Are you okay, my boy? Oh, you're so lovely. So yeah, really, really happy with that one. Hey baby, do you want to come sit on my lap so I can get my shawls? So my next shawls are all from the Shawl Society. The Shawl Society is over now. It was so much fun. It was by Curious Handmade. It was a collection of 6 patterns that you would receive every month for 6 months. And oh, I just enjoyed it so much. This was the first one that of the group of them that I have that came out. This is the quill shawl. It's not looking quite as lovely because I've worn it a lot since finishing it. I knit this one out of John Arbon Knit by Numbers DK. I don't know the colours. Oh, this one's Viola actually, but all of the colours are in my project page because they're numbered, they're not named. So I can't retain that information, can I, Bobbin? But I really, really love this shawl. I'm really, really pleased with it. So I followed the pattern for this, apart from I kept the centre spine in stocking stitch. That was the only change I made. But I really, really liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. And I've been enjoying wearing it a lot because it's really, really warm. And then I finished this one. I think I showed you the yarn that I got for this in the last episode. I've blocked this, but I haven't clipped the ends yet. When I block anything, I always sew in the ends first and then block it, and then I'll clip the ends off afterwards. So I just haven't done that yet. But this one was called the Aurora shawl, and my mum fell in love with Deb's version, Tink Hickman. It was a 2-colour version, so when we went to the Knitting and Stitching show she picked out some yarn for it, and I used this Life in the Long Grass. This is the fine sock, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. What's wrong, my baby? In the Cocoa and the Sandy Cove colours. And I started knitting this. You start over here. And I put in the second colour, and for a little while I was thinking, I really don't know if there's enough contrast there. It looked like it blended too much. Sometimes when I had to swap the colour, I was even a bit unsure about which one I would be knitting with next, because I guess in sort of low light they looked very, very similar, and it didn't look like there was a lot of difference in them both. But now that it's blocked, I think the difference is just right. It's such a lovely shawl. This was so much fun to knit. I really, really enjoyed this one a lot. It really keeps your attention because it's only for small amounts of time that you're doing the same thing. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that one. So this is for Mum, and yeah, she'll be pleased to have this. I just need to get some photos of it. I used the needle size that was recommended for that, and really, really enjoyed it. So my last one is the last shawl from the Shawl Society, and it's called the Sonder shawl. And while we were at the let me explain. Helen's sample was knit in the fibre company Tundra, which is a beautiful bulky yarn, and while we were at the retreat, the shawl actually came out just after we got back from the retreat, I think, but while we were at the retreat, Daphne from the fibre company was there, so we were able to buy some yarn from her if we wanted to. And so I bought some Tundra, lots of us did actually, to knit the last shawl. And I'm so pleased I did, because it's absolutely beautiful yarn, and obviously it is perfect for this pattern. It's so cosy and soft, and I think there's a man coming into my garden. So we'll see how noisy he is, but I might have to continue this later. We're having lots of work done on the garden at the moment. Oh, there are 2 men actually. This could get noisier. We've had new fences up, which is wonderful because now I'm not worried about bobbin escaping or anything. And we're having our patio sorted out because it was in not great condition. So yeah, I didn't think he was coming today, so we'll see how noisy he gets. Anyway, I can't remember what I was just saying. Sorry about that little distraction, but I was saying something about this Sonder shawl. Now, oh, I love this so much. I got the pattern through and had a look at it, and it said 8mm needles. So automatically I thought, oh, I'm going to need to buy some 8mm needles. But I've got this bag of random circular needles that I've had or sort of gathered since I first started knitting, and it's a tangle in there. I have no idea of sizes. They're mostly Addy, one of the Addy types, because that's what the local yarn shop that I used to go to stocked. They're nice needles actually, but I find the cable has a bit too much memory for my liking. Anyway, I found a set of 8mm needles in the bag, and I was so happy. Wasn't I, bobbin? So happy, because that meant I could start the shawl straight away. And I really, really enjoyed knitting this. You start at the little end and it gets wider and wider. Then you, before you finish. So, good boy. In the pattern, Helen has made hers with tassels, which I love tassels. They look so cute. But I just had this pom-pom shaped urge. So I had to get 3 pom-poms from Toft Alpaca to put on the end of my shawl. It's kind of like a scarfy type shawl, but it's very cosy. I haven't actually tried putting it on yet, but oh, I think I'd put it on the other way. Let me have a look. I did block mine, I wet block mine reasonably aggressively, and I kind of wish that I hadn't, because before I blocked it, it was very thick and warm, and now it's still warm, but it has opened it up a lot, but it hasn't given me a lot more length, because I could wrap it round twice before, and now I can still wrap it round twice, but it's just a bit longer. I wanted to stretch it out so I could wrap it round 3 times for some reason. So if I were to knit this again, I think I wouldn't block it, or maybe just pin it out and spray block it. But I wanted to have all of these fluffy pom-poms around my neck. So maybe I can wrap it 3 times. So yeah, actually that's perfect. Ignore what I just said. Ignore that completely, because it wraps around 3 times and it makes it more sort of like a cowl. This is just going to be the warmest thing ever. And these ridiculous pom-poms, I just love them. I love them so much. Toft pom-poms, they are alpaca fur, but no alpacas are killed for the pom-poms. The pom-poms are made from the baby alpacas who have died due to natural causes, and it's a way for the farmers in Peru, I think it is, to still get money for their animals even when they have not made it to adulthood. So yeah, they're as ethical a fur product as you can get, I think. So that's why I like them. This is just ridiculous, isn't it? I might have them spread out. I don't know. Anyway, I'll play with that, but I'm just in love with them. Really, really love them. So I'm really pleased with that one, and really enjoyed knitting it. So It's lots and lots of fun. And I'm glad I put the pom-poms on because I just think they're a bit whimsical, and I like whimsical a lot. So I'm gonna start wearing that now. It's actually got milder here, so I don't know when the proper cold's coming. I imagine soon enough. So they're all of my finished objects. Everything seems to have random little bits of thread on it because I've been sewing a lot lately, but yeah. And I think that's what sort of left me in my slump, because I've finished such a lot of things, and usually I start a lot of things, but I've just been sort of working quite solidly on those projects and getting those knit. So yeah, I've interrupted the cycle. Bobbins noticed there are people in the garden. It's all right, baby. So yes, I'm thrilled to have finished all of those, and I'm even more thrilled that I get to keep 3 out of 4 of them. That's exciting. But yeah, I need to start some new things and get enthusiastic about some new projects. Helen's now started Knit Vent, which is really exciting. It's a similar concept to the Shawl Society in that you sign up to receive patterns that you don't know what they're going to be like, and then you receive them over, I think it's weekly instead of monthly, in the run up to Christmas, which is really, really exciting. And I did a giveaway for some places on my Instagram, so that was really nice. So thank you for that, Helen. That was really, really fun to do. But yeah, perhaps I should start the first pattern from that. It's very, very pretty. But yeah, I'll work it out. It will be fine. I just panic myself when I'm in a knitting slump. So I'm sort of in the mood for, I don't know if it's because it's getting towards Christmas and I love socks at Christmas, but I'm just getting into a sock mood. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, so I'll tell you a bit about the retreat that I went on. So, Curious How May Country House Retreat, if you listened to the podcast in March, I went to the same retreat, and it's at this lovely, beautiful house in this tiny, tiny little village. It's such a lovely, beautiful place. It's in Cumbria, and it was so funny going back the second time because it sort of felt so familiar, and it just felt like home. And I was in the same room sharing with my friend Amanda, who I shared with last time, and it was just so lovely to go and catch up with friends and meet new people, and oh, I just enjoyed it so much. If you ever get the chance to go on that retreat, I would so highly recommend it, because it's really, especially if you're anything like me, I guess, because it's really, really relaxed. There's no sort of set itinerary that you have to do. There are no expectations. There are workshops that you are welcome to join in with if you want to, but the pace of it is just really, really lovely, and there's wonderful food and just always such interesting conversation. I missed my train on the way there, which didn't start it off brilliantly, but luckily I could get a train within half an hour, and I actually caught up with the people that I was planning to meet on the train. It was just a wonderful, wonderful time. I know there's another one in March, so if you could make it to that, I would really recommend it. So I loved it. But as I said, Daphne from the Fibre Company was there. She talked a bit about the development of one of their new yarns, which was just fascinating to get a sort of idea of how much goes into developing a new yarn. She had boxes, like a huge box of samples of all the different iterations this yarn had gone through, from idea to the finished yarn that they were happy with. It was just so interesting. It was this one, it was the Aranmore. And we got 2 skeins of this in our sort of little welcome bag, which was lovely. And I picked a really dark colour. I really liked this burgundy, but it's just a beautiful yarn. It's got tweedy bits in it, which I love. And it's a blend of 80% wool, 10% silk and 10% cashmere. It's made in Ireland. And it was so interesting hearing about the development of this yarn. And we also got a pattern from Helen for a hat and a cowl to knit out of this yarn, which are lovely. And I can't wait to knit with this. See, I hoped that by podcasting today, my knitting juices would start flowing again, and I am feeling now like, oh, I might like to cast on that hat, because that would be really cosy. And walks with bobbin in the evening have been getting a bit chillier, so I have been thinking maybe it's time to wear a hat. But anyway, it looks very, very dark holding it back here, but it's just a beautiful rich burgundy colour. So yeah, I like that a lot. And we also were able to buy other yarns from the fibre company if we wanted to. So I got the Tundra, and I can't remember the blend of the Tundra. It's something completely divine, but I can't remember what it is. Shall I look it up? I've been tidying, so I don't know where I've put my ball band. I'll put it in the show notes, or it's on my project page for the shawl. But I also got this yarn. This is the Cumbria fingering, and I just could not resist this colour. I think if you can see the colour that I can see, that is pretty accurate. It's sort of a chartreuse sort of colour. I just couldn't resist this. It's a very, very yellow green, or green yellow, but it's just a gorgeous colour. Julie from Suffolk Socks was at the retreat as well, and she's knit these socks for her husband, and out of this Cumbria fingering, and they are the most cosy looking things I've ever seen. So I'm desperate to knit a pair of plain socks, plain and cosy and just gorgeous socks out of this for me. This is the Buttermere colourway. Oh, I didn't tell you the colour of this, did I? It's Branna. And this one, oh, the depths of my memory. It's lost somewhere in there. Allium. It's called Allium, that one. So yeah, they're absolutely beautiful yarns. It was lovely to be able to see all of the different fibre company yarns. Daphne had brought along a ball of each of the yarns that they offer, and we could take off a little sample and just get a feel of the yarn. It's lovely. And she had this sort of big ring with little mini skeins on it that was like a shade card, but substantial shade card. So it's lovely getting to see all the different colours and all the different bases that they do. I just love this. I just love this colour. So I am, yeah, I now want to cast on a hat and socks. Let's see if I want to cast on something else with the next skein we talk about. But that's all I got from the retreat. So I just had a really, really lovely time, and I really hope that I can go again, because it's just the perfect, it's relaxing but inspiring, and it's so lovely just to be surrounded by people who are so passionate about the thing that you're passionate about too. We went for a couple of little meanders up to the shops and just around the house. I can't call them walks because there was nothing purposeful or athletic about them, but they were little meanders, and it's lovely to be able to walk with people who also want to photograph just random things that you come across, like a particularly lovely coloured leaf or moss on a flint wall or something. So yeah, it's just really, really lovely to spend time with such nice people. So yeah, I had a really, really lovely time. Thank you so much, Helen and Meta, for organising such a wonderful, wonderful retreat. So I might save the Yarnporium bits and talk to you about them next time, because I can feel my throat's being a bit unpleasant. So I've popped some of the bags I've been working on along the back here. There's my Christmas pudding one, and then there's my newest applique design in time for Christmas, which I just think is adorable. And then there's some Christmas themed ones, because I'm going to have a shop update on Friday, I think, which is tomorrow. But I just have to show you this before I go. I have been working on the most lovely collaboration with Helen, who's from Curious Handmade, and Jane from Hedgerow Yarns. We've been working on a little kit inspired by the Christmas Eve cast on. If you're new to the podcast, for the last couple of years, I think it's 2 years, we have cast on a pair of socks together at Christmas, and it is one of my favourite things in the whole year. I absolutely love it. It's so exciting to share a bit of everyone's Christmases, and people share pictures in the Ravelry group and on Instagram, and it's just so nice getting to see a little peek into other people's Christmases. And I love planning what yarn to use and what pattern to use and what bag to keep it all in. It is just such an exciting thing for me, being able to be a part of it with everyone else and having other people join in on something that I've done for a few years now. I just love it. So yeah, if you're new and you didn't know about the Christmas Eve cast on, do join in with us this year, because it is just the most fun. I'll talk about it a bit more in the next episode, but inspired by the Christmas Eve cast on, we've done this kit together. Helen is designing this, well, has designed this gorgeous sock pattern, and it is just perfect for Christmas Eve cast on, because it's got a bit of detail at the top, and then it just goes into a really nice intuitive knit. So I always find that with projects I have capacity to concentrate most at the beginning, especially around Christmas when things are a bit busy anyway. So I'll concentrate a bit at the beginning, and then you get to go into this really, really simple but effective, beautiful texture at the end. So really excited to start that. I think I'm going to knit that for my Christmas Eve socks. So yeah, Helen did the pattern. Jane dyed this beautiful yarn. It's just so gorgeous. Hedgerow yarns are just such beautiful yarns. So delicately speckled, it's just beautiful. And I made a bag. So we were inspired by vintage fairy lights. I just found this wonderful picture of this tangle of fairy lights and just felt so inspired by it. So I've done this sort of little take on the fairy lights, and then the colours in the skein pick up the colours that I've used here. And then Helen's pattern also echoes the fairy light inspiration. It's I'm so thrilled with how it's all come together. So yeah, I made this little applique bag, and I wish that you could see, but I don't think you can, but there is glitter in the fabric. So it's a little zip bag, and there's a little lone fairy light on the back. So I'm thrilled with this, so excited about it. And yeah, so Helen's pattern will be in the kit as well. It's very limited in number, but they'll be going up in my shop on next Monday, I think. So, but I'll make sure I mention it on Instagram and things. It's so exciting. I popped a video of it up on Instagram earlier in the week, and it was just so lovely to get such a positive response from people, because we've really worked hard on it and really enjoyed working on it. So yeah, I was really excited to show you that. So yeah, there'll be a few things happening in my shop on Friday for those lovely bags, and then Monday for the lovely kits. I'm so excited about them. So the last thing I want to do before I go is draw for our giveaway that we had in the group. So it's for this lovely bag by Girls So Sheepy. And the lovely yarn from Little French Meadow. Oh, it's just so pretty. It's so pretty and so squishy. And the pattern collection from Mina Phillip, the Beyond Vanilla collection. So I did random number generator earlier, and it came up with 359, and 359 was Shadows at Midnight. And it doesn't say your name on here, but I think I recognise your name from Instagram. Oh, and it was your first post in a group thread. So how exciting is that? Oh, so that's really lovely. So Shadows at Midnight, do get in touch with me and I will get your prize in the post to you. It doesn't actually say where you live or anything, so yeah, I hope you really enjoy your prize, and I'll get it into the post, off in the post as soon as I can. And there was just one other thing that I wanted to mention that is very exciting for me. I'm still getting used to this jumper. It's a very interesting shape. Anyway, two of my very good friends have started podcasts, which I'm really excited about, because it means that I get to catch up with them when I can't actually catch up with them. So I'm very excited about it. I can't remember what day it was on, but on one day my friend Kim said that she had done a podcast, which was just a surprise, and it was really exciting. Kim is absolutely lovely. She went on the retreat this year as well, so I got to spend a bit of time with her there, and I've met her before, and she's just really, she knits such pretty things. She's been knitting this thing she took to knit at the retreat, is this incredible shawl that's pairing a cashmere with a really fuzzy mohair. It's the most heavenly shawl I've ever seen, and I'm desperate to knit it too, so I need to have a look for some nice mohair. But yeah, Kim is absolutely lovely, and her podcast is really lovely as well. She knits just beautiful things, and it's lovely to get to spend some time with her. And she has the most handsome cats and the cutest little kitten, which I always love getting to see. I have been known to screenshot pictures of her cats and keep them, which I think probably makes me a bit of a cat stalker. But oh, I've just said the C word loads of times and he hasn't even noticed. Her podcast is called Ooh Sparkly, and I'll put links in the show notes. Kim is Scrimbelina on Instagram Ravelry. I don't know if I just mentioned that or not, but yeah, I've been so excited that she started a podcast. And like the next day, my other very good friend Amanda started a podcast. Amanda is Knitting Mummy on Instagram and Knitting Mummy of 6 on Ravelry, and Amanda's mentioned that she might start a podcast for a while, and I've always encouraged her because I just thought it would be lovely to be able to catch up with her when I can't see her, and she started one now and I'm so excited about it. Amanda is just lovely. We always share a room at the retreat and we chat all the time, and yeah, I love Amanda. So she started a podcast too, and hers is called More Yarn Please, which I think couldn't be more apt because Amanda is very, very enabling. She buys a lot of yarn and yeah, enables me with quite a lot of yarn as well. And Amanda just knits fantastically bright and wonderful things, and yeah, I'm so pleased that she started a podcast. So I'll put links to both of those in the show notes if you'd like to go and watch, but yeah, I'm very excited about it because they're very good friends of mine. So I think that'll be all for today. I'll tell you about Yarnporium next time, I think. But when I was at Yarnporium, I met up with Helen and we recorded a little bit for her podcast, and so I'll put a link to that in the show notes. It was really, really fun to record with Helen and felt so different recording for an audio podcast instead of a video podcast, but it was really, really fun. I absolutely loved it. We chatted a bit about the Christmas Eve cast on and a Christmas tradition, so if you haven't listened to it yet, I'll pop a link in the show notes for you to go and listen to it if you want to. I hope to see you very, very soon. I've got some Yarnporium things to talk to you about. I've got a book to show you, and I'm hopefully going to get my knitting mojo back, which I'll also like to come and chat to you about. I also wanted to say thank you so much for all of your really, really thoughtful responses about the West Knits dilemma. General consensus was that I just shouldn't knit it if I'm not feeling it, and I agreed with that, and I did decide to stop knitting it. So, and I'm really, really pleased I did, because I think it would have been more stress than it was worth. Knitting shouldn't be stressful, should it? But I would have let it stress me out, and only because I want to finish the first clue, or I want to finish the clues before the new clue comes out. So yeah, I did decide not to knit that anymore. But thank you so much for your really thoughtful responses. It was just so lovely that people understood my dilemma and let me know what they thought about it. So yeah, thank you very much for that. And now I've broken the cycle, so I just get to choose whether I do it next year or not. There's no pressure about keeping up the yearly tradition anymore. So I hope you have had a really, really wonderful time since I saw you last, and I hope your next couple of weeks are lovely too. Thank you so much for coming and spending a bit of time with me. I hope to see you very, very soon. Bye.